In the beauty world, there is one quintessential must-have for women: lipstick. Lipsticks have been an integral part of all women's lives, from neutral shades to bold, statement-making colors like hot red, purple, and even black. When we think of lipstick today, we regard the tubed cosmetic as part of our regular makeup routine. Our grandmothers wore it as a rite of passage into womanhood, and the tradition is carried down to where even younger teens have a little bit of pink color in their lip balms. We now rely on professionals that use chemistry and technology to enhance our lips, creating a smoother, fuller base for application, especially as we age. It has become a symbol of our womanhood and strength, breaking the chains of outdated ideals of femininity. In this episode, we'll examine the history of lipstick, including its storied past and well-deserved notoriety. The history of using a cosmetic to enhance our lips is fascinating, going back as far as 5,000 years to the ancient Sumerians. Archaeological evidence shows small containers filled with crushed gems mixed with oils and wax to create the desired effect. Many early cultures believed cosmetics and body paint were spiritual and induced healing. Ancient Egyptians wore red lipstick to indicate their higher status and made their emollient from bugs, which is still an ingredient in many modern lipsticks today. Prostitutes in ancient Greece were required by law to wear red lip pigment to classify their station, and had the dubious privilege of applying a mixture of sheep sweat, crocodile droppings, and red dye. Great Britain's Elizabeth I brought red lip makeup back into vogue during the 1500s, made from a better recipe of beeswax and plant-based red dye. However, red lipstick was almost banned in England by the 17th century, citing witchcraft and seduction. In colonial-era Pennsylvania, a marriage could be annulled if, during the courtship, the prospective bride had sported artificially red lips. This brings us to the late 1800s, when the French perfumers Guerlain introduced their first lipstick brand, followed a decade later in the US with the Sears Roebuck Company catalog that listed rouge meant for both cheeks and lips. From the late 1890s through 1920, lipstick was born in its now traditional form, as women applied it from a sliding metal tube invented in 1915 by Maurice Levi. Lipstick became a US cause célèbre at the start of the 1920s, inspiring the wrath of society moralists, namely the WCTU, or Women's Christian Temperance Union, who believed only loose women of low morals would use enhancements. Thus began a war against cosmetics, namely lipstick, with the opponents consisting of a group of women who defied convention and fought for the freedom to choose how we present our faces to the world, without censure and without shame. Society women continued to use the enhancing agent, pushing back against the stern moralistic groups. Over time, the defiance of a small group of women spread like wildfire, each face a statement as they stood against their critics. Their bravery in fighting for their civil liberty to use cosmetics eventually won the battle in the war against lipstick. These women fought for the right to bear lipstick, from the highest US court to the highest vehicle in the skies, bearing their badge of femininity proudly, achieving feats alongside men while packing their powder and red lips for all the world to see. For more beauty tips, trends, blogs, and influencers, go to beautify.com.